Okay. Obviously, our kids are excited about going to the SEC tournaments. We feel like it's one of the premier events in the country. The shortened work week where you go in and you play on Tuesday, I think is a little bit of a challenge, but it's a good thing for our league because this was the way that enabled two more teams to get in. And I think that's important because I think the 9 and 10 seeds are very, very good baseball teams that can get into NCAA play and make a run. So I think our league is so dynamic, and the way that finishes are going to be now and forever. I think you might have a 9 seed who could have a higher RPI than a 4 or 5 seed. So I think it's important to get 10 teams in the tournament. I think our league's done a great job with that, and I think the new format of the tournament reflects that. Don't know who we're going to pitch yet for tomorrow against a very talented Arkansas club. Woodruff is a possibility, Polyer Ring is a possibility, and Ben Bracewell is a possibility. We're going to get with those guys, stay during practice, and make a decision after practice is over. Arkansas certainly had a great weekend, sweeping Tennessee. They're a very, very talented club that can get on a roll at any time. Obviously, their RPI dictates that they played a great non-conference schedule, and they're a tough team to handle. I feel like the ballpark at Hoover plays like ours in a lot of different ways. I think that helps our club, but like every other series or tournament you play in, we're going to have to pitch and play defense. That's what we do.
Arkansas's, they're leaning toward playing Ryan Stanek. He only pitched, I think, like 20 pitches because he got hurt.
Right.
He's been limited the last couple of weeks, had back spasms something the weekend before. You guys have seen him before, but I mean, how do you go in preparing for a guy like that maybe hasn't pitched really in 2 weeks?
Well, the way he pitched against us, he looked like a big leaguer. So, gosh, I hope he doesn't have a repeat performance of what he did here at Duty Noble because he was phenomenal. I think he's a very talented kid with a great arm, and he presents a lot of challenges for you. So, again, don't know who they're going to pitch, but certainly as soon as we get that for sure, we have the one thing I do know is we have as much film on every pitcher in the Southeastern Conference as anybody else. Our folks have done an unbelievable job with that, so we will watch a whole lot of film and do the very best we can to get ready for a good club.
You mentioned Bracewell. Has he gotten healthier to the point he could get back into some kind of significant role?
I think it's certainly possible. I don't know the answer to that question because Ben, from week to week, from day to day, it depends. I thought he pitched extremely well last Tuesday. We didn't play well last Tuesday, but I thought Ben was one of the few bright spots in that ball game. He pitched extremely well. He was 88, 90, touched a couple of 91s with a very good slider. Certainly, I think it would be a big boost if we could get him out there on a Tuesday. We didn't even dress him out this week, kind of this weekend, planning on him being a factor in the first game of the SEC tournament, either in relief or as a starter.
Coach, obviously, sometimes teams go into Hoover hot and get cold and vice versa, but how much does it help going in, the way y'all been playing lately?
I think it helps, for sure. I'm just really so proud of our club, 11-4, on the back end of a very difficult SEC season with all the things that our kids have been through, all the adversity. I just feel like, they feel like they're on a run. They feel like good things are going to happen. And, when a club's feeling like something good's going to happen, something like, Darren Norris hits a 3-run homer. It's amazing how mental it is, and the feeling in the dugout, and how the kids responded to each other. But they've just really kept competing, and I think that's huge for us because we know we're banged up. We're still banged up, but it's tournament time now, and you got to do everything you can.
There's the possibility there if you get in that bye, if Ole Miss upsets Kentucky. I mean, how much do you maybe root for Ole Miss in a sense so you can have that extra day off, and how important is it to maybe get that extra day off to be able to, like I say, on a Thursday, throw Stratton out there?
I think that's big. I think the day off would be huge, but to be truthful, the minute you root for somebody or anybody in a tournament situation, then what you rooted for just ends up, kind of biting you a little bit. So I don't, the minute you get into that scoreboard watching stuff, and I know our kids do it because they're kids, but we're just so concerned about the Arkansas situation. But I do think it's kind of a neat deal. It's a little bit of a reward if you win and some things pan out that you could get a day off, just like the number one seeds have been rewarded by getting a day off as well.
Look at the bullpen, and how much can that deep bullpen you have help you in a different kind of situation here at the tournament, different dynamic, I guess?
I thought you were going to ask me the question that I get at the radio show every week, which is why do you bring a guy in with a 2-strike count?
You can answer that too.
Yeah, I thought that was coming. Yeah, it really helps to be able to have that flexibility. It really helps to have, not only have flexibility, but have some flexibility with people who have experience.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, you know, how much experience does Jonathan Holder have? You know, how much experience does, you know, especially coming into this weekend? I mean, how much experience did any of our freshmen have who have really contributed out of the pen? So certainly, I really like our bullpen, but you know, being able to extend Jacob Lindgren out on Saturday, I thought was huge because we didn't have to burn as many guys, and we'll have all those guys available for us on Tuesday. And yeah, I mean, every game's critical, so I mean, we'll use whoever we have to use on Tuesday to try and have a chance to win the ball game.
Kind of anticipates my next question about some of the younger guys like Holder and Lindgren, you know, getting some pretty quality innings, which is, I imagine it's got to be tough to crack that rotation with all the experience you have there.
Yeah, I sound like a broken record, and I don't mean to with you guys, but those guys sitting there, waiting their turn, going through their work on a daily basis, right next to guys like Stratton, like Kendall Graveman, like Caleb Reed, it's invaluable to, and then when they get their turn, they have seen what it's supposed to look like, and the chances of them doing it that way are much greater. And that's the real benefit of having some older guys who have had great success for us. The younger guys are trying to desperately get to that level because that level is tangible, it's seeable, it's right in front of them. And they've been able to do that. You know, just if you'd have told me this fall that Jonathan Holder essentially to this point wasn't going to give up a run, is it a run or an earned run, Joe?
Either.
Okay. I would have bet significant cash if the NCAA doesn't allow you to bet on anything, but I would have bet a lot on the fact that he was going to give up a run. But he's been phenomenal. It's not an accident. It's not a joke. I mean, he is a real guy. He's pitching at a high level. You know, Lindgren's been waiting for his turn. You know, he's kind of the guy that Butch and I talk about so much. We got to get Lindgren in there because his bullpen's been spectacular. His stuff is unbelievable. You got to get him in there. And then it just didn't work out, you know, for us to do that as much the last 3 or 4 weekends. But what he did this weekend was amazing. Of course, Ross is a redshirt freshman, so he's seen it a little bit last year. But you know, the amount of sync that he's creating and what, you know, he just shows so much poise. And I remember Pat McMahon using the word moxie a lot, and I love that word. You remember that too, Joe? You know, he late in that ball game, you know, he had pitched earlier, and you know, Ross was going 2-0, which is as a coach, you go, man, can we just get ahead? And he just takes a deep breath, shows that, you know, great maturity, and just gets right back in the strike zone. Normally, freshmen can't do that, but these guys have been able to do that for us.